This is the 2021 Range Rover Evoque. It's been with us now since 2019. While it might look the same outside, there have been a number of changes inside. Since its launch, it's received a range of new, more efficient engines and powertrains, including the latest P300e plug-in hybrid version. And now we have the new 2021 model year update. This sees the Evoque fitted out with a range of new technologies, including a new infotainment system and active safety technologies, as well as an all-new range-topping autobiography trim level. If you had a successful family recipe that had been handed down from generation to generation and was something you put out the bag at family events like weddings and birthdays, well, you don't mess with that recipe, do you? You follow it to the T. And the same can be said for the new 21 model year Evoque. Nothing on the outside of this car has changed from the 2020 model, except for the fact, well, our particular one has been wrapped rose gold. Other than that, visually, everything else on the car remains unchanged. It echoes the styling cues of its larger brother, the Velar. Everything is smoothed in, it flows beautifully round, and it's all very aerodynamic and slippery. Things like this front valance in the front bumper and this grille that flows into the headlights. It's a very minimalistic approach. The whole car is almost naked of fuss and drama. There's no unnecessary creases anywhere. The details are kept to a minimum. We've got things like these bonnet vents and these little markers under the wing mirrors to add a bit of style to the sides. Those retractable door handles and things like the alloy wheels, they all add to the style of the car. But overall, the silhouette remains very, very minimalistic. If there was ever a car that was designed to be a styling accessory to your lifestyle, the Evoque is that car. It's the interior where the new 2021 Evoque has seen the major changes. That same level of simplistic detail and design has been carried through into the cabin, and now there's been some updated touchpoints and technologies that keep the car ahead of that competition. Land Rover have some of the best ergonomics when it comes to driving positions, and the Evoque is no exception. There's absolutely loads of adjustment on the steering wheel and in the seats, and visibility out of the windows is absolutely excellent, despite the fact that rear window is actually quite narrow. You also get front and rear parking sensors and a rear view reversing camera, as well as this really handy, nifty 360-degree camera system, which will allow you to park in even the most tightest and narrowest of spaces. It really is one of the most ideal tools to use for urban driving. You can also option your Evoque with a rear view mirror that at the flick of a switch will turn itself into a screen, using a camera at the back, which means if you've got 3 passengers in the back and visibility out the rear has become a little bit more compromised, or more likely you've loaded the rear seats with too many shopping bags, well, you've still got optimal visibility out the rear of the car. The seats themselves are very, very supportive and exceptionally comfortable. They're the ideal tool for long distance driving. Even when they're set in their lowest position, you still get optimum visibility, and that gives you that extra confidence when out on the road. One of the biggest changes in here though is the new infotainment system. We still have this 10-inch screen here that tilts out of this beautifully well-crafted and architectural dashboard, but now it features Jaguar Land Rover's latest software, PIV Pro. And as a result, we've got updated graphics and a nicer user interface. It's far more intuitive and it's much more simple to use whilst on the move. It also features Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. We then have this second touchscreen below it, which is part of this beautifully crafted center console. It's all here to control things like your driving modes and your seat temperatures and the fan settings. And finally, in the 2021 model year, we have this new steering wheel. It's only a small change and all the buttons are exactly the same as the previous model. It just has a visual update and it kind of refreshes the interior slightly for the new year. The whole interior feels exceptionally high quality, with plenty of glass and high quality gloss plastics and leathers on all the surfaces. While I say leather, Land Rover also offer their cars with a vegan alternative, and this is the eucalyptus non-leather option. It's a non-cost option, so it shouldn't set you back any more, and it's also an extremely high quality material. It's got a superb finish to it, which means even when it's fitted to the car, you wouldn't miss that leather interior. When it comes to practicality, for a compact SUV, the Evoque is hard to beat. There's plenty of headroom, and in the rear, there's also plenty of legroom. The seats back there are nice and wide as well, so you can easily fit 3 adults in there without too much argy-bargy. The rear seats also obviously come with that all-important ISOFIX for mounting a child seat, and the rear doors open nice and wide, making access extremely easy. The boot space is ample too. There's 383 litres with the seats up, and this increases to 1,156 with the seats down. You can configure the seats in a 40-20-40 split fashion, so you can carry long items like skis down the rear and still have 2 rear passengers. Or alternatively, you could fold one half down, fit a larger bulkier items in there and still keep the child seat in place if it's safe to do so. Finally, there's a nice flat load lip, which is useful for getting heavy items in and out without scuffing the bumper or having to do any unnecessary lifting. And there's also a small underfloor storage area for smaller items that you don't want rolling around in the boot. It's also worth noting that if you're going to go for a fuel-powered Evoque or a plug-in hybrid, it makes no difference to the boot space. They're all the same.
So what's it like to drive then, the new 2021 model year Evoque? Well, it's exactly the same as the 2020 model year Evoque because nothing underneath the car has actually changed. And that isn't a bad thing because, well, as I said at the very top of this video, you don't mess with success. And the same can be said not just for the design of this car, but for the way it actually drives and feels. Because, well, it's absolutely perfect for the job that it was designed to do. It's a lovely, soft, comfortable place to sit and be. It's almost serene in here. There's very little in the way of road noise. Normally when you have yourself an upright, tall SUV like this, you get a lot of wind noise and a lot of road noise, but, well, that's not really the case in the Evoque. It's definitely one of the best in its class when it comes to cabin serenity. It's a very quiet, very comfortable place to sit and be. Handling-wise, the steering is very, very accurate. It's so easy to position on the road. You get great visibility, which makes it fantastic for things like town driving and city cruising because you can see all 4 corners, as I mentioned, from the visibility. And with this 360 camera, it allows you to do things like parking in multi-story car parks or tight street spaces without curbing your wheels or, you know, catching your bumpers on something. It's a brilliant little urban cruiser. This car is actually most comfortable cruising along a motorway at 70 miles an hour or taking on an A road rather than being something you'd want to hustle along a B road because, well, there is a bit of body roll in the car. It is a tall SUV, it's not a sports car. And that, as I say, isn't a bad thing because it does make it exceptionally comfortable. You got to remember as well, this is a Land Rover, so another trick it has up its sleeve is the multiple driver sections you can do down here. It does mean you can do a bit of green laning in this car and a little bit of off-roading. It's not a full-on off-roader like some of its larger siblings in the lineup from Land Rover, but it's definitely more capable of going off the beaten track than a lot of its competitors, which means when you go camping, you shouldn't have to worry about potentially getting stuck in the mud on the campsite and not being able to get off again. The Range Rover Evoque, to me at least, is one of the best small SUVs money can buy. It's brilliant around town and in urban environments, it's fantastic on long drives, and it has plenty of space and character on the inside to be able to be a comfortable, stylish place to sit and enjoy a long distance journey. If you want to find out more about the Range Rover Evoque, please don't hesitate to contact one of our team using the contact details in the links below. And please make sure you like and subscribe this video and join us again in the future for more videos and reviews of the amazing range of cars that Rybrook have to offer in the future. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.